This is take 4, take 5. I don't know which one of the two. But okay, going back to what I was saying though, I kind of want to go over this trade. I want to go over this trade and I want to really explain this trade over to you. So I want to start off with the weekly and really start off telling you what I was looking at the weekly, and I want to tell you a little bit more context behind on the reason why I took the trade that I ended up taking. Now, I took a trade and I kind of broke my rules a little bit for this trade, and I kind of have to hold myself accountable for that right now as I'm speaking to you about it. But I want to let you know now at this point in time, looking back in hindsight, this was probably a really dumb trade. Now, I took a trade against my bias. I took a trade against my bias. The trade would have worked out, but it still was against my bias. So in the end of the day, it wasn't a good trade, but it was a good loss, if that makes sense. But we have a fair value gap right here on the weekly. If we take a look, we have a fair value gap and an order block. Now, we didn't touch down into this order block yet, as you can see, right? We didn't touch down to this order block. We didn't come down here to go touch it. We just tapped into the fair value gap, and then we're just retracing a little bit off the fair value gap. So you kind of would have wanted to wait for a retracement of the fair value gap. Now let's drop down to the daily. Now on the daily, my daily bias for today was bearish. I was anticipating for us to take out previous day low, but the problem with that is the fact that we already did take out previous day low. We took out previous day low during Asia session, so the objective was already hit, because that was what my target was going to be. My target was going to be previous day low. Like previously, before I was even taking a look at the chart, I wanted to target previous day low, but previous day low already had gotten hit during Asia session. So with that being said, now I want to talk a little bit more about the trade that I took. So if we drop down into the 1 hour time frame, no, actually the 4 hour time frame. Let's drop down into the 4 hour time frame. We have this PD array, which is a fair value gap, 4 hour fair value gap that we're respecting currently. Now, when I was taking this trade, these two candles weren't formed yet, at least, or this one was forming, but this one already had formed, but this one was still forming. I was anticipating that we were going to reverse off this, and we not reverse, but we were going to continue going down. So I was anticipating around this time we would touch up to equilibrium and then come back down. But I wasn't going to take like two crazy targets. I was more or less going to take a scalp since the objective of the day already got hit, which was previous day low. So taking shorts after previous day low has gotten taken out is not a good idea ever. So with that being said, I took this trade, which was totally against my bias, but would have worked out if I actually had proper stop loss and I had set my stop loss and I wasn't as impatient to take the trade. So with that being said, I want to take a look at this trade and see what really happened here. Now, obviously, you can see in hindsight that we had formed an order block right here. This is obviously an hourly order block right here. So we formed an hour order block right here. So we formed a 1 hour OB. Now let's drop back into the 15 minutes. You can see how I ended up getting stopped out. So we formed an order block there. Now, I don't know if we're gonna I don't know if we're gonna retrace back into that order block, depending if it's in a discount. But I'm anticipating that we're in need of a retracement into a premium on a higher time frame, so like a daily time frame, since we are in this fair value gap now. So we'll see what happens with that. But talking more about the trade that I actually took, it was right here. It was to target equilibrium right here, but obviously you can see that I ended up getting stopped out by a wick. I got stopped out by a wick, and let me show you the loss that I took right now. Right now, as I'm speaking to you about it, I have to open up MaxTrader. Hold on, give me a second. Okay. Now, valuation phase with funding pips, but I'm currently in drawdown. This is what the current thing is looking like right now. And to show you a little bit more on what we're really looking at right now, I will show you right now. This is what we're also looking at right now. This is the whole monthly chart right now for what I got going on. You can see I was a little bit in profit, and then I ended up coming back down into drawdown. That's such a perfect equity curve for the opposite way around, and it's something that I'm trying not to do, but I'm trying to do it the opposite way, if you understand what I'm saying. But obviously, it's not too much of a big loss. It's not really something that I'm really worried about. In fact, I went in with a little bit less size than I usually do. But this is the P&L for the day. which is unfortunate, but hey, it happens, and there's nothing really I can complain about. As long as I hit those good high risk to reward trades, I should be totally okay. I don't really have anything to worry about. But with that being said, um, with that being said, this is what it looks like. Right now, this is currently what it is. But back to the actual trade, I ended up getting stopped out by just a wick, and I had to drop back down into the 1 minute time frame just to see it. Let's take a look at this. I've dropped into the 1 minute time frame. I should have waited for a little bit more of a retracement, and then once we started getting displacement, I could have just taken it from the sky high right there, and I would have gotten a better risk to reward too. But I set my stop loss a little bit too tight. I would have been able to set my stop loss at least down here or at least down here for the trade, but it was a 1.92 R trade, and that's not something I really usually go for. I usually go for minimum 2 R because it makes me a little bit more comfortable. The 1 R trades are not really my thing. I don't really like taking them. They're not really something I feel comfortable with taking. And plus, it was really only a couple pips. It was like around like 6 pips, probably. It was really only it was really only about like 6 pips. Let me check. Nah, it was about 4. Like 4. It was 4.8. Stops me out because I had set my stop loss too tight. I didn't wait for any other confirmation. I didn't wait for no change in state and delivery. I didn't wait for anything else. Swept this. Should have waited for a little bit of a retracement to come back down. But I got a little bit impatient. I thought we would just continue going back. Down, but we didn't. Came down, retraced, and ended up stopping me out, reversing into my favor to go tap into the equilibrium and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of it for right now. I'm gonna end up reviewing this a little bit more later on, but just not right now. I have to review it a little bit more later on, but I will get my weekly bias for at least this week, since we're just starting it out and it's only Tuesday. So I will get the weekly bias for you guys soon. And yeah, I'll probably record that later. I kind of want to wait for a little bit more intel, especially with the way the market is right now. So I'll probably wait until maybe Asia session, going into London session to record that. But we'll see what happens.